The study of child development is incomplete without studying parenting. But this is a phenomenon that is very, very culture specific. People in different societies parent very, very different. We know that American parents treat their children very differently than Pakistani parents. Within Pakistan, you have parents in Lahore who would probably treat their children very differently as compared to parents in a small village in Punjab. Parents in interior Sindh might be very, very different qualitatively to parents in Karachi. But there are some things that may still be common. And so psychologists have proposed different parenting styles. The first parenting style that we're all familiar with is called the authoritarian parenting style. The authoritarian parenting style is where the parent's word is the last word. Both parents, father and the mother, impose very, very strict rules on their children. And they punish their children very, very severely if any rule is broken. There is a lot of physical abuse and verbal abuse in authoritarian parenting style. And research shows that children raised in authoritarian families tend to have serious emotional difficulties as adults. The second parenting style that has been studied in detail is the indulgent or permissive parenting style. In the indulgent or the permissive parenting style, parents spoil their children actively. And when I use the word spoil, I mean it in the sense that not only are children left to their devices, they are supported in what is called bad behavior. So for instance, a child misbehaves at school, comes home, and the parents say, "Oh, well done. You showed your teacher what kind of family we are from. Haha." And you find that if a child abuses animals or mistreats other children or bullies other children, and the parents still support the child and do not teach them right from wrong, do not teach them moral values. Many people who may be affluent but do not teach their children the value of other human beings, do not teach the value of respecting other human beings, tend to create bullies who grow up to be very domineering and bossy and narcissistic people. Generally, what is considered a narcissistic personality disorder tends to be a product of very, very indulgent parenting, where parents make their child feel that they have the right to abuse others, where parents make their children feel that they have a right to acquire everything and anything by hook or by crook, and they do not teach them of the value of the rights of other human beings. The third parenting style is the uninvolved parent style. Now, it might seem similar to the indulgent style because a child is left alone to do whatever they want. But it is not the same thing as the indulgent parenting style. Why not? Because here, the home is like a hotel. Both parents go to work. The children may be left unattended. Or if they're left at some daycare or at some other institution, even after the family comes back, the parents are doing their own things and the children are doing their own thing. Parents don't even know what their child is watching on the internet or what kind of video games they're playing or what kind of books they may be reading or not reading, what kind of homework they're doing or not doing, what is happening in the school or not happening. So the uninvolved parenting style is not as bad as the indulgent, because in the indulgent parenting style, you are being taught a lot of negative values by the parent. But even if it is better, it is not so much better, because again, children are being left to their own devices. There is no respect for society or for other things being taught actively. The citizenship, the participative nature of human societies is lost to these. If they're lucky, they may find some mentor in school or some friends that would help them understand this. Otherwise, these children again would grow up to be problematic children. I'm not making a prediction here. I'm saying research shows that a lot of people with a lot of problems have had uninvolved kind of parent. And finally, the authoritative parent style. The authoritative parenting style, which is also called democratic parenting style, is about setting rules yet allowing a lot of space to children to explore, discover, express, and participate. Children, when their parents are practicing an authoritative authoritative parenting style grow up to be better citizens. They grow up to be more mature emotionally. They develop a sense of discipline and a respect for the laws of society. Authoritative parenting style, even though the word sounds similar to authoritarian parenting style, is very, very different. In the authoritarian parenting style, rules are imposed, enforced severely, punishment is practiced regularly, and children feel suffocated in these families. Whereas in the authoritative parenting style, the imposition of rules is generally welcomed by the child. Imagine a child who's been playing a video game for 10 hours non-stop. Their eyes are tired, their brains are exhausted, their hands and arm muscles are tired, their shoulders are tense, and when the father or the mother says, time to take a break, the children themselves feel relieved. But this is not what authoritative parents do. Authoritative parents set a time limit. So for instance, a child is told, you have 2 hours of screen time today. In addition to any academic activity we might do online, your screen entertainment time is limited to 2 hours. I'm just sharing with you an example. Now, these children have a day full of different kinds of activities where they're learning, where they're collaborating with their parents or with neighbors' children in the community. They're being respectful in school, and their activities in school are being monitored by the parents. Parents go regularly to parent-teachers meetings, and so on and so forth. So what you find here is that there is a lot of structure in the environment, but it is not a suffocating environment like that of the authoritarian parent. Here, in the authoritative parenting, the child's voice is also very important. So for instance, if the child says, I want to do X, the parents would give the child an opportunity to explain what that X is and whether or not it's good for the child. And after a reasonable amount of discussion, if the parent is convinced, the child may be afforded the opportunity. So it's a very, very different parenting style. So it is the authoritative parenting style which allows the children a lot of room for self-expression, for assertiveness, for persuasion, and for negotiation. The child is truly being developed as a citizen in the authoritative parent style. Recently, a Pakistani psychologist by the name of Dr. Rubina Qasim, and I'm really proud of her because she is a former student of mine. She has developed a training program for Pakistani parents, and it is a purely indigenous training program, meaning that it has drawn all its data from Pakistani parents and children first. First, she observed how parents in different families are interacting with children, and then she developed a training program for parents where parents were actually taught the authoritative parenting style. Many parents were practicing authoritarian or the rigid or the suffocating parent style. Generally, there were some who were also practicing the indulgent parent. So Dr. Rubina Qasim developed this particular model, and she successfully trained a bunch of parents in the authoritative parenting style. If you think about it, this is the need of the hour. Pakistani parents as well as parents all over the third world can learn a lot from this particular training program. Another thing that I would say is very important to understand here is, which is usually not talked about, is an inconsistent parenting style. And that can also be very, very harmful because the child really doesn't know what is happening. Let me give you an example of the inconsistent parent style. The parents decide that from now on, there will be no television in our home. So the television that is there is now switched off, cables removed, subscriptions cancelled. The TV is now being put in the store. And the child who's used to playing Xbox and, watching YouTube and other things on the screen gets very upset and starts to cry. And the mother says, oh my God, look at the poor baby, don't cry. And she tells the dad, come on, I can't tolerate this. Bring out the TV. I can't see my son like. It could be the other way around. I'm not blaming mothers particularly. Maybe the mother is imposing the rule and saying children will have no access to their tabs or to their TVs or to their laptop. She confiscates everything. And the child goes to the father and says, Mom has been very, very oppressive. It is not fair. I need to do all my work on the laptop and on on the tab and so on. And the father may restore son's privileges of computer use. Well, I'm not saying either the father or the mother did a bad thing. I'm just saying that they go on doing this perpetually. So one person imposes a rule, the other person breaks that rule. One person suggests something, the other person opposes it. And then sometimes both parents decide to become very, very authoritarian and rigid disciplinarians, and then 5 days later they give in and become indulgent parents. I'll give you another example that I've observed. But the parents say, well, from now on, no eating out and no food from outside. No more junk food, no more McDonald's, no more Kentucky Fried Chicken. All right, so everything is being cooked at home. And it's usually the mother who has to do all the cooking. And after 3 days, she's sick and tired of this. She says, well, whatever, I'm going to order McDonald's. And lo and behold, the same practice of junk food eating or eating out resumes. So many families go through these cycles of following authoritarian, followed by indulgent, indulgent, followed by authoritarian. So there is also a need to ensure that there is consistency in the way we deal with our children. But that having been said, I would say that the authoritative or the democratic parenting style is best if practiced consistently.